sorry about that, but I had to, I was still working on tweeting out the show. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Hi, it's Friday. Hope you have something nice planned for the weekend. If you have a weekend, I know some of you, excuse me, I know some of you work odd or different schedules than the 9-to-5ers, the Monday through Friday people, but whatever. I hope you have a day off where you can do something that does not involve talking about this trial anymore. Holy shit. And I hope today, I've been putting out this tweet. I wonder if I'll get in trouble for spamming it throughout the place, but I hope I get some people on here today that disagree with me. I put the notification for the show in a couple different places just to see what happens, and we'll see what happens. But it's Open Mic Friday. I should probably open up my StreamYards here since I haven't done that yet. I should probably get in there, enter the studio, and because there's probably people there before me, which would be crazy. But I just want to hear from y'all. What do you think about the trial? Do you believe there will be a guilty verdict, a not guilty verdict, a hung jury? And I didn't really put the choice of mistrial on there, but that is also a possibility. And that's what we want to talk about today on the show, Open Mic Friday on the Morning Night Live. But before we do that, well, there's a couple things I got to do. One, I got to play the intro. I'll tell you the other when I get back. Johnny, play the intro, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, Dawg Knight. All right, I should probably figure out where the hell the thing is. Okay, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome to the Dawg Knight Channel. Whether it's your first time or your, how many episodes, 700th time, I welcome you to be here. And I'd love to hear your opinions on some things. It is Open Mic Friday, so I really would rather hear from people who think young Mr. Rittenhouse should be found guilty, and I'd like to know the reasons why. Brandon Failing, in fact, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. And if you disagree with me, that's great. I welcome that. I'd love to hear your reasons, see if you have facts and evidence or anything from testimony in the trial that tells you, that can explain why you disagree with me, and I more than welcome that. So thank you for being here. I appreciate you. The other thing I said though that I had to do before I started running my big old fat mouth was I got to say good morning to people in the chat. Now, I am here on time today, and looks like a bunch of people are slowly strolling in, and so we're going to talk about. But I'm gonna let people. If people jump in the green room, the link's up at the top of the chat. If you jump into the green room, I will bring you in and we'll find out what you're doing. But first, let me say good morning to the people who are already here. First, we're gonna start with Somnambule Nation, who gets the bell for being here first. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and also thank you for tweeting out the show before you tweeted out before I did. You are just seriously somnambule on the spot, so thank you very much. Good morning also to Selecta Boy.
Yeah, boy.
Also good morning Zach to the Future, Advocatus Diaboli, the Devil's Advocate, Jaded Clay, Richo, my friend from Down Under. Good morning also to who else is here? Attack Alpacas in the house. Brandon Failing, welcome to the show if this is your first time. And good morning to Check Your Logic. Red 5 Golf, self-defense is not a crime. Oh, I agree. Self-defense is not a crime. We have to determine if it was self-defense by Kyle Rittenhouse. I personally believe it was. Some people don't. We'll figure it out as we talk and talk and talk. Also, C. Thomas is in the house. Kapow. Also, good morning to, that's it. That's everybody. That's all? Oh, come on. What's going on? What's going on some of these other channels? Is somebody else that normally Let me see who else is streaming here. I'm going to go to my YouTube page and figure out who's streaming that I share a significant portion of an audience with. Oh, I'm going to keep, I think I'm going to keep Ricada just on the side burner here. And if you happen to be watching more than one thing, do me a favor and let me know, and I'll go back to their stream. But I'm going to put their stream on in the side ground. I'm going to have so many windows open that my computer probably won't work very well. Looks like they just got, let's see, they've got Andrew Braca and Hogue Law on right now, or he has them on right now. Probably discuss stuff. Andrew Braca is probably the preeminent expert on self-defense in all 50 states. He knows the laws in all 50 states. He's interesting. So one of the things I do certainly recommend after you watch me, go over to Ricada Law or go watch this. Did I set up 2 streams? Yes, I know I set up 2 streams a day. One is just to have the StreamYards in the background. So it's not technically a stream. It's just the place where people can go and jump into the Open Mic Friday. So if you're wondering why, my regulars would know that, my regulars would know that I set up 2 streams a day, and that's why it looks like I did. So one is for December 31st, though. So that's not for today. All right. Also, good morning to Tyre Alexander. Nice to see you. I was ignored? No. Oh, you know what happens? Sometimes this skips. Did I miss you? Sorry, my friend. I appreciate you being here. Welcome back. Also, Barack number 44 NYC. Good morning to you also. Welcome to the show. This is a name I haven't seen before. And you know what? Let's get into it. Now, I have my first person in the green room who's going to give their 2 cents. Now, let's see. Let me figure this out real quick. I do this. I had to change how I do the Open Mic Friday, so hopefully this works. And I'm going to say, is that C. Thomas in the background?
Yes, it is me.
Well, look at that. I did it right. Here, let me put this on the screen. Now, so good morning, C. Thomas. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing okay.
All right. We're here to talk.
Been better.
Good. And I'm glad, it's nice to see you back, coming and watch the show every once in a while. I know everyone's schedules get weird, so I'm not so worried about that, but I am absolutely happy to see you. But my question today is, this is all Rittenhouse, so we're not gonna talk about anything else but the Rittenhouse trial. Hello, K-Shell, by the way. So give me your hot take. Oh wait, wait. I'm sorry, guys. I do have to do this. Now, this is not. I'm sorry, C. Thomas. Give me one moment.
Okay.
All right. Real quick, I do have to thank Gunfox61, who I don't think you're here today. He probably had to work this morning, but he dropped me a donation this morning of $4.99 about 3 hours ago. It says, Marty, my take on because I yesterday asked about convicted criminals and guns. Should they get their constitutional rights back once they pay their dues? And he says, Marty, my take on convicted criminals and guns. Hell no, I don't care. You did a crime and you are found guilty. You should not be allowed to own guns nor be allowed to vote. Now, pedos should be... Okay, I'm just going to read it, and y'all can disavow or not disavow. It says, pedos should be hung until dead. Commies should be deported to California. So, okay, well, there you go. That's a donation from Gunfox61. All right, back to C. Thomas. Let's talk about, give me your hot take on the trial. Good morning, Lucian Sakar, by the way.
When it comes to the steam and hot takes for me on this trial,
yes.
I don't think there's any other way to say it other than clusterfuck.
I can't say I disagree with that, but tell me why you think it's a clusterfuck.
Well, to steal a joke from somebody else, Kyle's defense is about as absent as that one dad that disappears to go get cigarettes and never comes back. And then we all know how well the prosecution's good at self-execution.
Yeah. Well, look, so, and I'm assuming you mean just because they're seeming timidity, is that a word?
Timidity? Yeah.
Is that a word? To object to certain things that they probably should be objecting to. And also just letting the prosecution, whenever there's a question before the judge, the prosecution has learned that if they talk long enough, the judge will just acquiesce to them. And it's funny because a lot of people say that, oh, this judge is totally deferring to the defense or deferring to Kyle Rittenhouse. On some rulings that are points of law or fairness in the court, yeah, but if you really are paying attention, you realize that a whole lot of the defense's motions are being just pushed aside until later, right? Anyway,
that judge.
That's what I want you to elaborate on.
That judge has been more of his defense than his defense has been his defense.
Well, on rulings and certain things that like as far as language that the prosecution used, that the judge has had to stop them many times. So that's interesting.
And do we even need to discuss about how many times now the outside has been trying to fucking dox the jurors?
You know, I'm gonna take our faces on, put my Facebook account here because I might show something else. I'm amazed that, for example, when the reporter or alleged reporter from MSNBC was following the jury bus and got pulled over for running a stop sign, okay, and clearly they were following the bus, and then they told the police officers that his assignment editor wanted him to follow the bus. Now, that right there alone should have been the last straw. And there's been several instances where the judge has said, you know, you have a couple constitutional issues. You've had disregarding the pretrial instructions to the prosecution and defense as far as allowable evidence. The clear bullshit regarding this so-called photo and drone video where they don't have provenance, where they gave the defense a completely different version of the video, including a different file name. Soon as they, you know, I was going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Oh yeah, maybe sometimes if you go from one phone to another, it gets compressed automatically or whatever. But the fact that it had a different file name,
that's suspicious as fuck.
That should have immediately told the judge that they got a different version. And in fact, when they were talking about this evidence before they were going to give jury instructions, and quote from the prosecution that we have a better version than they do. That they said that. And so I'm going, wait a minute. How could you have a better version than they do? And how do you know that you have a better version than they do? That means you have a different version than they do. And that is a clear Brady violation. I cannot believe that they are not, it hasn't been a mistrial already. It's baffling. And I think the judge is so worried about public opinion instead of the law.
And that part is, and both the judge being afraid of public backlash and the jury supposedly being afraid of public backlash are two of the most egregious things about this whole fucking trial. The fact that we're letting mobs who are lied to constantly by dishonest media say, well, if you don't do things the way we want you to, we're just going to burn your whole goddamn town down.
Okay, here's the problem, though. As much as I believe that is the case, that the jurors can hear people yelling outside, whatever, I have no evidence that that is actually the case, that they're being intimidated. But if you read for example, the request for the video the other day, clearly the foreman of the jury who wrote the request is influenced by the language of the prosecution, because the foreman used the prosecution's language in describing the events, saying that, we want the point where Rittenhouse set the fire extinguisher down. Okay. If you listen to the defense and the prosecution describe that event in different ways. The defense says he dropped the fire extinguisher. The prosecution says he put it down. Okay. The difference there is the foreman of the jury is obviously using the language of the prosecution. And the thing about, so that got me to thinking last night at the end of the night before they adjourned for the evening, and they asked for the jury instructions, right? Well, yeah, it's the foreman who's asked for the jury instructions. My guess is that because they're arguing about provocation. That's because there are jury instructions about provocation. Now, provocation has to trigger the very event that causes, for example, they're saying provocation would have had to trigger the event that caused Rosenbaum to chase Rittenhouse, right?
Yeah,
if they're arguing over provocation,
is that the prosecution might be trying to cleverly word something to convince people.
Well, no, that's what they did in their closing argument, because that the idea of provocation never came up during the entire trial. In fact, nobody testified that there was provocation. That's the funny thing about it. The only person who even said anything was the person who the only person that said anything about provocation is there was the one detective who said he was watching a video and thought he saw when he blew it up on his iPhone that maybe he saw Kyle raise the gun towards unknown people, because even in the video, if he did raise his gun, there's nobody in the video that they provided to the court in that video because they cropped out the Zeminskis. But they're saying, oh, well, he's pointed at the Zeminskis. Well, the Zeminskis aren't even in the picture, and you can't tell if he's holding up a gun. You can't. If he is holding up a gun, it would have to be left-handed. He never, in the entire night, had his gun in his hand left-handed, and he would have had to have done that in a split second and then immediately change it back to right because he's running with it right-handed again. So it's all just, it's, the hocus pocus out of focus. I think that's keeping him alive right now. By the way, let me stop for a second.
I think you're forgetting one important thing.
What's that?
The AR-15 is so evil that it can teleport at will.
Good point. Perfect. Good point. By the way, people, if you're watching and you want to jump in and give us your 2 cents, the link to the green room is at the top of the stream. It'll also pop up. Oh no, it won't pop in the. It won't pop up in the chat because I didn't turn that on. By the way, real quick, good morning, Johnny Hellcat, the original viewer of the Morning Night Live. Also, good morning to who else popped in here? Suzette Frank, how you doing? And Tarai Deos is here, and I'm sure there's more, but I'll figure it out eventually. So welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. All right. So anyway, what else you got? Any other quick hot take before I move on here to see Thomas?
I don't think I have anything else other than the fact that clearly 5.56, which is what the AR-15 is chambered for, is a very large round compared to literally every other rifle caliber round you can buy out there.
There's a problem with that, C. Thomas. You know what the problem is?
Okay.
You don't know,
Shoot.
yeah. He had 223s in his magazine. This is a 223 AR-15.
Okay, fair.
So
I forgot about that part, but still, it's still a very large round.
It is, but and the Ding Dong who said that he pointed his gun at Kyle Rittenhouse had a 40 caliber Glock. I think,
yeah,
no, wait a minute, no, wait, that might be wrong. I think it was a 9mm Glock 40. Never mind. I can't remember. Anyway, well,
it's got to be something relatively common.
Sure, but yeah, he shoot a 223. Wait a minute, hold on, but it was a full metal jacket, just like every other bullet that isn't a hollow point. Anyway.
or isn't shit that you can't buy, like armor piercing.
Right. Well, yeah, clearly he had something that was legal. And, there's still people saying that he was carrying the gun illegally. And the funny thing about that is,
he wasn't.
Well, he wasn't. And the only way he would have been able to, let's say he, because we knew it's funny because the prosecution knew it wasn't an illegal weapon, at least because they knew it was not a short barrel shotgun or rifle. And the only way that what's Black's first name? I can't remember. Anyway, Dominic. Black? Yeah. The only way he would have been able to get a short barreled rifle or shotgun would have been to have a serious federal tax stamp and all the fees on that. Yeah, they didn't buy that. You can't just buy that off the rack.
That's not even including automatics, because you can get automatic pieces, but you need to go through.
Oh yeah, you got
fucking hoops.
Yeah, you got to go through the whole shit. So anyway, C. Thomas, sir.
And this is just a two. Sorry, one last thing.
Go ahead.
This is just a 223. God forbid if he had something like a 500 nitro or a 700 nitro,
or a 306,
which are
or a 50,
far bigger,
or a 306, or a 50 caliber machine gun, or a bazooka, or a nuke. It would have been all would have been worse.
Actually, if he was running around with like a Panzerfaust, I would actually be impressed.
Oh, good Lord. Anyway, all right, brother. Thank you so much for calling today. And you have a great day, man.
Yeah, no problem. You too.
All right, my man. All right. Next on deck, by the way, if you want to join the show today, the link to the back green room of the open mic is at the top of the chat right there. It's also in the description down below. It also will pop up in the chat every once in a while. Please come and tell us your hot take. Next on the show is our friend Cannon Hotep. What up, my brother?
What's up?
How you doing, man?
Right now.
I watched your stream. I think it was yesterday that you were on for about an hour. Your hour-long stream.
Yeah.
I just watched that this morning.
So I appreciate it. But so I just want to clear up some things.
Sure.
1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6 is an anemic. It's just a glorified 22. Ain't nothing large or high power about that.
But what about those full metal jacket rounds? Full metal jacket. Sorry, man. Go ahead.
No, you fine. So the last all he was completely wrong on that. Like, that's a small bullet, glorified 22. 5, like I said on the live stream, HJ, it's a 5mm bullet. And we all know 5mm is bigger than a 5mm.
Yes, it is.
I mean, if you're good at math. Gage had a 40 caliber Glock. A Glock 27 is 40 caliber gun. I know that.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
My very first carry gun. 40 caliber Glock. And a 40 is basically.
Wait, you're breaking up. Hang on, you're breaking up.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Okay, go ahead, man.
All right, and again, a 10mm is a lot bigger than a 5mm. And at close range, that 40 caliber bullet coming out of Gage's gun would have did a lot more damage than that 5.56 or that 2.23. And like I said before, I would argue that he would have he'd have been a lot faster, a lot more efficient with a handgun. But we know he couldn't carry that handgun because it was illegal. So he was operating inside of the law.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's the one misconception I wanted to clear up. 2, this whole full metal jacket argument. Let me tell y'all something. Full metal jacket is the cheap target ammo.
Hang on a second. Say that again, though. Say that again. The full metal jacket is a cheap what?
It's just cheap target ammo.
Oh, right.
You heard me?
Yeah, I can.
Can't. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying I can hear you now. When you're moving, it's a little bit hard because it keeps going in and out.
All right, so can you hear me now?
Oh man, loud and clear. Loud and clear.
All right, so full metal jacket is just cheap target ammo. That's all it is. That's what 30 cents a round. It's just what it is, and it passes through. Hollow points is made to stop people in their tracks and less likely to survive, is what that is.
Mm-hmm.
So like I equated like hollow points. Let's just say that he had hollow points in that AR, right? Or defensive rounds in the AR is what we like to call them, defensive rounds. That defensive round would have went into the body and broke off into pieces and made different wound channels. Then you would have the argument that, oh, he used hollow points, and hollow points are made to kill people. So the bullet don't matter. Full metal jackets aren't armor piercing. Simple as that. It's not. And I would argue that I would rather have defensive rounds in my gun than full metal rounds, because especially in an AR, where if it does pass through, the person that you're hitting can still stand the fight. So, you know, this argument about the AR-15, he had an AR-15. An AR-15 is just a glorified 22. That's all it is, people. The gun was 26 inches long. That's a heavy gun, and that's a long gun to be wielding around.
Okay, let me say something real quick, though. So, you know, you said the AR is just a glorified 22, but isn't it big, black, long, and scary? It's a scary looking weapon, man. It looks like a military weapon. I'm sorry. I can't even keep a straight face saying it. I can't. It's just, people just...
Right. I guess that makes it more lethal.
It's an assault weapon.
I wouldn't take an AR-15 deer hunting. You know what I mean?
You know what I hear a lot of people use them for, though? Because of the fact that you can shoot many rounds quickly. Because deer hunting you wouldn't, because you're not shooting multiple rounds at a deer. But I know a lot, like down in Texas and Arkansas, they use them to for like against the wild hog problem they have down there. Because because the wild hog will charge you, unlike a deer, and so you got to use multiple rounds to put them down. They're a defensive weapon. I mean, they can be a defensive weapon, especially in that kind of case. But
right.
But a lot of people use them for target practice and all kinds of things. And some, there's you can use them for hunting like varmints and shit. But that's
that's it. Like coyotes, bobcats, stuff like that. Big game, it tears up the meat. No. Go try to shoot a deer with an AR and see if that deer drop. See if you got to go find it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 miles down the road.
It'd be cruel to shoot deer with it. It'd be cruel.
It's cruel to shoot a deer.
Yeah.
And not because it tear up the meat. It's because it's so anemic. The round is so small, it'll take forever for the deer to come to it. Yeah. Versus a 300 blackout or a 308. And that's the thing. A lot of people keep putting stock into what kind of gun he had. The gun don't matter. Like I said, a bullet's a bullet. What matters is the person behind the gun and the intent the person has. And we see clearly from all of the video footage. And I will argue that drone footage that they were just arguing about doesn't help the prosecution one bit. Even the cleared up footage doesn't help the prosecution at all.
Well, they said it enough times, though, that someone in the jury, and it's probably the foreman, believes that it shows Kyle raising his weapon, which is, and you know what, as I've been watching, because a lot of people have been working with that video online, and if you watch that closely, the part where his gun is supposed to be raised, that part is already there when he walks into that position. And so that's what they're saying is him raising the gun. It's like a mirror on the truck or something, but you can see that whatever it is, he's walking and that piece is already there. And then when he walks up to it, it looks like a T, like he's pointing at something. He didn't raise anything. And none of the other videos and none of the other testimony supports him raising the gun. And the people he supposedly raised at didn't testify.
Exactly. That's another thing I was getting ready to say. Is that it doesn't matter if he raised the gun earlier that night or whatever. What matters is from the time Rosenbaum started chasing him to the time he got to that police line. That's what matters.
Right.
As simple as that. And people are getting caught up in this minutia. The prosecutor has done a great job at skewing the facts, especially for people that's ignorant to the fact of how guns work, how self-defense works, how deterring people works. You got a lot of, from what I'm hearing, which I don't know, it's speculated that you got a lot of women on the jury, which, nothing against women or nothing like that. But,
we should repeal the 19th, but.
But, at the same time, as far as that's concerned, a lot of women aren't really savvy on how guns work and how self-defense work.
Right.
You know, like I had a woman in my chat last night who said that him is degrees of self-defense, and because he had an AR-15, those people chasing him in their self-defense didn't deserve to be murdered. I said, listen to what you're saying. I said they were chasing him. That means they were the aggressors. They were no longer fearing for their life. Like, you don't chase somebody with a gun. How you do it is run, hide, fight, right? They didn't do that. They were chasing him down to harm him. He was the one retreating. You know, like I equated it to, you know, here in Maryland. Let's just say somebody broke into my house, right? And they took my TV and they ran. I cannot then chase this person down. You know what I mean? And try to subdue him or shoot him. Or even if let's just say I see somebody assaulting a woman out in the street and I draw my gun or whatever, and they run up and they take off running. I cannot then chase after them because now I'm the aggressor. So whatever happens is my fault at that point.
Right. Well,
you know, it's the same thing there.
But the prosecution over and over and over in their close kept saying that if you bring a gun, you're no longer allowed to defend yourself, which is, and they said over and over, and some of them people in the jury must believe it because that's the only thing they're looking at right now is that one video with the grainy picture that you cannot tell what's happening, nor can you tell who he's supposedly pointing a gun at.
And that is the entire point of having a gun is to defend yourself.
Right. If you,
I got my gun on me right now, just in case I need to defend myself.
Right.
It's simple as that. But anyway, I got to get out of here. I got to finish doing some stuff. I just want to call in and tell people, like, look, for those y'all don't know, AR-15 round is an anemic round. It's a glorified 22. If you go back and watch my live stream, in the live stream with HJ, I compared it to what Gage had. I show you what the bullet looks like. I show you what a 40 caliber round looks like. You can see the difference. Those prosecutors have been up there lying, and they're just counting on you to be ignorant to the facts. So anyway, with that being said, I'm out of here, man. I'm going to go ahead and listen while I'm doing what I got to do.
All right, man. Well, Tyre Alexander in the chat says, shout out to Marylanders, Baltimore City in the house. So you be safe out there, my friend.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Bye. All right. Thank you, Cannon Hotep. As always, I always appreciate him jumping in. Also, good morning in the chat. I noticed some more people are here. Brad Young is in the house. Kiever Dam, nice to see you. Zia is in the house. That's ZZA if you don't know who that is. Also, I think I saw Lord Stanhope. What's up? Suzette Frank, I said hi to earlier. Also, good morning to John Arnott and some Duck Dogs in the house. And somebody else, Kimmy, that's another new one in the chat. So welcome to the show. And if you like what we do today, please hit the like button at some point during the show. Also share the stream before, during, and after the show. And if you really like what's going on, or you got something that you just need me to say, but I'm just not paying attention to you, I am a whore when it comes to people dropping dollars in the tip jar. So you can do that through Streamlabs at P.Night.live. In fact, at P.Night.live, you can watch a show, you can participate in the chat, and you can make donations. Or YouTube Super Chats, or there's a couple other options in the description down below. I don't even remember which ones I put down there, but thanks to those who sponsor the show. All right. So right now I don't think anyone's waiting in the green room. So there's some hot takes on Twitter too that just people drive me crazy. Oh no, what is this? So just to get into some of the stupid tweets, and here's one that, thank you, Jedi Ghost Bear. Oh, Dom O'Leary's in the house too. Nice to see you, my friend. All right, so here's one of those tweets that always happen that stupid people say. Someone named Robert Young Pelton. Now remember, oh, by the way, anytime I show tweets on the screen or people's names or whatever, please, please, please do not contact them because they were on my screen, or even, if you want to go hang out and have an argument with someone on Twitter, I don't mind, but don't involve me, please. Do not use my name. Do not ever say, well, Dawg Knight said. Nah, I don't want to hear that. If you want to talk to me, I assume you just not bother anyone we talk about. I'm not here to cause any dog piles. Oh, did I see Richo in the house? I did. Oh, that's my friend from Down Under. Okay, you're here. But anyway, this is one of these brilliant tweets. So this guy right here, Rittenhouse's AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle made things worse, ratcheting up danger rather than quelling it. Really? I didn't see that that building they were standing in front of get set on fire. Did you? Anybody? Anyway, the gun transformed situations that might have ended in black eyes and broken bones into ones that ended with corpses in the street. Well, wait a minute. If it would have ended in black eyes and broken bones, isn't that imminent danger? Okay. Sorry. Oh, this is someone in the New York Times wrote this nonsense. No, this guy, no, he read it in the New York Times. The truth about Kyle Rittenhouse's gun. We should read that one. Hang on. But anyway, our friend the ranting monkey, Jedi Ghost Bear said that miniskirt just made things worse when she walked into that bar. It transformed leering at boobs and asses into full-blown rape and heartbreak. Yeah, that's about the same logic. And then what did Monkey say? Someone said, he just liked that. Anyway, let's go read that New York Times article. I'm curious because they have the truth about Kyle Rittenhouse's gun. Why is this trade? There we go. Let's look at this while we're waiting for someone to jump in the into the green room here. Is anyone in the green room? Oh, Richo's in the green room. Okay, Richo, you'll be next. I just letting you know that I see you there, my brother, and we'll get there. Hang on. What am I doing? Oh, that's what I'm trying to get to the New York Times article, which is here, and I got to do the archive because these bastards are so intent on not having you read their articles. So we're going to read it anyway. I'm sure somebody, let's see. I'm sure somebody already archived this. Yes, they did. It was saved one day ago. All right. Richo, I'm going to have you hold on. Just hang in there tight. Anyone who's in the green room, right now it's just Richo. So hang in there, my brother. And we're going to check out this New York Times article real quick because I'm sure it's bullshit. Let's see how many things the New York Times gets. Opinion by someone named Farhad Manju, the truth about Kyle Rittenhouse's gun. Well, let's find out. It's an opinion piece. Let's find out the truth about Kyle Rittenhouse's gun. And this is the prosecutor pointing that rifle at the jury. Now, it's funny. This guy certainly doesn't have good trigger discipline. Now, granted, they did check the gun before he pointed at anybody. But I'm sorry, that's kind of weird that he would do that. Kyle Rittenhouse certainly has better trigger discipline than the prosecutor in the case. Anyway. This is the, how long is this? Please let this be short and sweet and to the point. Okay, it's not that long. We'll go through it. I've spent the last couple of weeks riveted by the murder trial of Kyle Rittenhouse, a white teenager.
You're fucking a white male!
Who shot and killed 2 people and injured a third. Wait a minute. A white teenager who shot and killed 2 people and injured a third. He didn't mention the race of those 3 people. Why not? He said Kyle Rittenhouse is a white teenager. How about the 2 white people?
You're fucking a white male!
And a third white person.
You're fucking a white male!
During the night of a Black Lives Matter protest and civil unrest in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year. It was a turbulent case. It still is. It's not done. For many days, the prosecution was on the ropes. Some of the state's witnesses seemed to bolster the defense's case that Rittenhouse acted in self-defense. Seemed to? Interesting choice of words. Anyway, that Rittenhouse acted in self-defense, while the crotchety judge frequently sided with the defense and blew up at the prosecutors. Why did he blow up at the prosecutors? Because they were shitbags. Anyway, after Rittenhouse began sobbing on the stand last week, it looked as if he'd be certain to walk. But on Monday, the lead prosecutor, Thomas Binger, offered a meticulously documented closing argument. What are you smoking? Documented how? By a picture you can't even tell what the fuck's in the picture? I'm sorry, I got a little emotional there. Please forgive me. That deftly summarized all the ways Rittenhouse acted unlawfully. Oh, do tell. Oh, do tell. All the ways that Rittenhouse acted unlawfully. What were those ways? He only named one. Only one, and he couldn't give concrete evidence that happened. There's no concrete evidence that happened. But anyway, I'm sorry. This is too easy. We'll see if the jury buys it. But to me, Binger's argument had power beyond this case. That's because it cleverly unraveled some of the foundational tenets of gun advocacy. Did it now? That's why this case is so dangerous, even though it can't set a precedent for the whole country, but that people will take this as just something that this should be the rule everywhere. This is how it should be everywhere. Hello, Tessa Cunningham. Nice to see you. Share the stream, by the way. Go while I'm talking. Find somewhere or someone to share this stream to. Please, I need the views. Actually, I'm happy with who's here. This is a great audience, and you are the best audience. And if I never got any more audience, I would still be extremely happy with the people I have here. You are fantastic. All right. Anyway, I'm going to read this again. On Monday, the lead prosecutor, Thomas Baker, offered a meticulously documented closing argument. Not documented at all. That definitely summarized blah, blah, blah. That's because it unraveled some of the foundational tenets of gun advocacy, that guns are effective and necessary weapons of self-defense, that without them, lawlessness and tyranny would prevail. Well, and it's funny because, again, did that building that they were protecting, did it burn down? Just curious. And that in the right hands, in the hands of the good guys, guns promote public safety rather than destroy it. Again, did they burn down the building that the guys were protecting? In the Rittenhouse case, none of that was true. At every turn that night, Rittenhouse's AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle made things worse, ratcheting up danger rather than quelling it. Did it now? Did the gun make things worse? The gun itself. He says the gun transformed situations that might have ended in black eyes and broken bones, so he should have just taken his beating, in other words, into ones that ended up with corpses in the street. And Rittenhouse's own gun was not just a danger to rival protesters. According to his own defense, the gun posed a grave threat to Rittenhouse himself. He said he feared being overpowered and then shot with his own weapon. So, interesting. This is self-defense as circular reasoning. Is it? Are you using circular reasoning? Rittenhouse says he carried a rifle in order to guarantee his safety during a violent protest. Interesting, because he's alive, and the people who attacked him, some of them aren't alive, and some are. He was forced to shoot at 4 people when his life and the lives of other people were threatened. He says, no. He didn't say anything about the lives of other people. He didn't say anything about the lives of other people. What was he protecting everyone from? He wasn't. He was protecting himself. The gun strapped to his own body, the one he'd bought to keep everyone safe. The shootings took place more than a year ago in the pre-election post-George Floyd, COVID-soaked summer of 2020. Near the end of August, a Kenosha police officer shot a black man named Jacob Lee. Okay, so again, you're discussing the race of somebody, but for some odd reason, way up here, you didn't mention the race of the 3 people who were shot. That's fascinating. Shot and killed 2 people. Kyle Rittenhouse, the white teenager who shot and killed 2 people and injured a third during a night of Black Lives Matter protest. You know, if you had no idea or hadn't followed this case at all, and you were reliant on this article, what would you think reading that first sentence? The white teenager who shot and killed 2 people and injured a third during a night of Black Lives Matter protest? You wonder why people don't even know that some people don't know the race of the people who are shot or shot at. White when it's bad. Kenosha police officer shot a black man named Jimmy. What color of people did Kyle Rittenhouse shoot? It's weird that they do this. And it just tells me you're just trying to stir up shit. Anyway, leaving and paralyzed, the small city erupted into a large protest that quickly turned violent and riotous. Well, at least he admits that. Hey, guess what, though? You know, all you black people, you know, the brothers and sisters, people melanated like me, who are, you know, Kyle Rittenhouse is guilty, guilty, guilty. Why are you caping for 3 people who turned your peaceful protest into riots, destruction, looting, and burning? You realize when that happens, your movement called Black Lives Matter becomes a violent movement, even though you're not the ones who did the violence. The people who come in, the opportunists who come and start burning shit down and breaking shit and stealing shit, guess who gets blamed for it? Black people. What were the race of the people who got shot? White people. Any questions? The scene on the night of August 25th, 2020 had the making of a classic gun rights fantasy. An unruly mob had descended on private businesses. An unruly mob. The hint of honesty there. One such business was CarSource, an auto dealership with 3 locations in Kenosha. Rittenhouse, who was 17 at the time and a resident of Illinois. Oh, he admits his father lived in Kenosha. Well, finally, someone in the media is realizing that maybe he lives close by and he has family in Kenosha. Amazing. This is amazing. Rittenhouse said he had come with a friend to protect CarSource on the invitation of the owner. He said he'd chosen a military-style rifle over a pistol because he believed he could not legally possess a pistol. And he conceded in part because the rifle looked cool. Well, and plus they didn't have any shotguns because that's what he went to go buy. Didn't you kind of miss that part? But yes, he chose the rifle, not military-style rifle. Maybe had military like accoutrements, kind of, but it's not a military-style rifle because the military-style rifles are very specific in having burst fire and other things you can do. But anyway, by the time Rittenhouse arrived, more than 100 vehicles on the sales lot owned by CarSource had been set on fire. Not that night. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. By the time Rittenhouse arrived, more than 100 vehicles on the sales lot owned by CarSource had been set on fire. That is false. That was the first night. This night, that hadn't happened yet when he arrived. There were no fires yet. God, it's amazing. You're writing an article in the New York Times and you don't know the basic facts of the case. But you have an opinion. There were burning trash cans on the streets. There weren't. But there were some that were set on fire while he was there. Gunfire rang out often. Later in the night, sure. Officers in riot gear and armed with tear gas were in control of much of the city. Not the place where they were. Again, basic facts in the New York Times that are incorrect. Amazing. Shocker. That's the clown horn this time. Officers in riot gear were armed with tear gas, were in control of much of the city. No, they were letting shit go. But there were sections where the police pulled back. Oh, I see. He did get that correct. Never mind. It was here that the people with rifles took a stand against what they saw as a mob. Right. Because the police weren't doing it for them. But as many witnesses testified, the rifles weren't very helpful at all. Which witnesses testified to that? Which ones? Please tell me which witnesses said in testimony. In fact, I think this is working again. Oh, maybe it's not. It was working this morning. What the fuck? Is it working on this one? Oh, I see. It's not there. Okay, anyway. Where's my HC boards? Should be right there. It's not working. Anyway, all right. Yeah, what witnesses anyone in the chat watching the case know which witnesses testified to that? And others in his group said they didn't intend to kill people that night. The main reason they brought the big guns, they said, was to deter attacks. Okay. And that backfired? Wait a minute. If it backfired, that means somebody was attacked. Who was attacked? Kyle Rittenhouse. So are you saying this is self-defense? I'm confused. The guns seem to invite conflict. Drew Hernandez, a right-wing internet personality who was covering the demonstrations, testified that when rioters spotted the men with guns, they immediately attempted to agitate them and try to start some conflict with them. And yet nobody got shot. Oh my goodness. And the car source, that first car source on 63rd did get set on fire either. Later that night, Rittenhouse left the car dealership and his armed peers and found himself in a crowd of strangers he suspected might be hostile to him. The prosecution says the killings began when Rittenhouse pointed his gun at Joseph Rosenbaum, an unarmed 36-year-old protester. Rosenbaum was a protester? Yeah, not quite. Let's see if he clears that up. Pointed his gun at Rosenbaum. Really? Is that when it began? Is that what caused it? Holy shit, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. An armed 36-year-old protester prompting Rosenbaum to run after him in an effort to stop a potential shooting. That sound will never, ever be played in relationship to Joseph Rosenbaum ever again. Rittenhouse denies provoking the attack. He says that Rosenbaum and another man, Joshua Zeminski, who was armed with a handgun, ambushed him and chased him when he tried to run away. The only part that I'm going to have, that I have maybe a difference of opinion with the defense, I don't know if they ambushed him or not. It could be seen as an ambush, but even if it wasn't an ambush, it was clear Rosenbaum chased Rittenhouse, period, and attacked Rittenhouse, period, and chased him when he tried to run away. That is true, 100%. It's on video. There's no doubting what happened there. Rittenhouse pointed his gun at Rosenbaum, but the man kept coming, so continued to chase him and ran again. Now here's the kicker right here. This is the line that I could already saw coming. In order to claim self-defense as a justification for shooting Rosenbaum, Rittenhouse had to have believed that Rosenbaum posed an imminent threat of death or great bodily harm to him. They're going to argue that a maniac charging and diving at you while you have an AR-15 in your hands is not an imminent threat to death or great bodily harm. I keep hearing this argument from the amazing Lucas, and I've argued with him back and forth on this. And even Nate, the lawyer, told him, yes, that is an imminent threat of death or bodily harm, great bodily harm. Someone charging at you, if they tackle you, it could be cause of death or great bodily harm. If they grab your gun, it could be cause of death or great bodily harm. If they punch you in the face, it could be death or great bodily harm. Great bodily harm is, anyway. Binger asked Rittenhouse, how could he have believed that? Rosenbaum didn't have any weapon of any kind, correct? So? Other than him grabbing my gun, no, he answered. Well, I probably would have answered better than that. Other than the fact that he was charging at me while I had an AR-15 in my hand and grabbed my gun and was, anyway. It's a telling response. Rittenhouse's main worry was his own firearm. No! Oh my God, these people. As Rosenbaum closed in, Rittenhouse said it became clear to him that Rosenbaum wanted to take the rifle, and if he got it, Rittenhouse said he would have killed me with it and probably killed more people. Rittenhouse fired 4 shots in quick succession, killing Rosenbaum just as he said. It seemed that Rosenbaum lunged for his weapon. Chaos ensued, Rittenhouse ran, and the people who had just seen him shoot Rosenbaum, false, began to go after. Oh, so I guess a couple did. Began to go after him at some point, but none of the people who attacked Rittenhouse saw him shoot anybody. That's the other part. While he lay on the ground, an unidentified jumped and kicked him in the head. Rittenhouse shot at Jump Kick Man, as he was often called during the trial, but missed. A 26-year-old named Anthony Huber attempted to smash his skateboard on Rittenhouse's head. Rittenhouse shot Huber in the chest. He died. Finally, Rittenhouse was met by Gage Grosskreutz, an EMT. He hasn't had a license to be an EMT since 2017. Who testified he firmly believed in his right to bear arms and prepared for that night like any other. It's keys, phone, wallet, gun. Whoa! At least you're admitting he had the gun that he lied about having to the police. Grosskreutz said he rushed to the scene to provide medical help. No, he didn't. Because the person who needed medical help was the opposite direction that he ran. He rushed to the scene to provide medical help. As he ran, he'd drawn his own gun. How do you provide medical help as you draw your own gun? Oh, the contradictions. Thinking that Rittenhouse was an active shooter. There was no evidence he was an active shooter. He wasn't shooting anybody. Was he shooting all around willy-nilly at the time? There's no way he could have been an active shooter. Rittenhouse and Grosskreutz squared up face to face, each lethally armed. But Grosskreutz hesitated, and Kyle didn't shoot him. After pointing his gun at Rittenhouse, he testified he decided that he could not take another human's life. Rittenhouse had no such qualms. He fired, hitting Grosskreutz in his right bicep, thus the name UNICEF. Wow. Oh my God. He testified he decided he could not take another human. Really? Because he was getting ready to point his gun at Rittenhouse, and Rittenhouse shot him before he could be shot. Grosskreutz was the worst liar on the stand. After all this mayhem, all this death, what use were the guns that night? The guns failed to deter attacks against their owners. According to the defense, Rittenhouse's gun was a reason Rosenbaum pursued him. According to the defense, Rittenhouse's gun was a reason Rosenbaum pursued him. And Grosskreitz's gun was the reason Rittenhouse shot him. The guns failed any notion of proportionality or moderation. There's no proportionality when you're 2 feet away from each other. A .40 caliber Glock will do as much or more damage than a 223 or AR-15. I guarantee you, if Rittenhouse had a 40 caliber Glock and shot Gabe Grosskreutz in the arm that way, it would still disintegrate part of his arm. Prosecutors pointed out that Rittenhouse quickly fired 4 shots at Rosenbaum. Even if Rittenhouse felt genuinely threatened by Rosenbaum, why hadn't Rittenhouse stopped shooting after the first shot, which could have immobilized Rosenbaum without killing him? Because when someone's rushing at you at full speed, you shoot until they're down. He wasn't down. He shot 4 shots. Why did they shoot Jacob Blake 7 times instead of just 1 shot? Because you shoot until the threat is down. That's why. Because 1 shot doesn't always stop people. There's many examples of people being shot and still coming at someone and killing them. By the way, skateboard can kill you too. There was just one 2 days ago in California. Someone was murdered with a skateboard. Why hadn't Rittenhouse stopped shooting, which could have immobilized? The defense use of force expert implied that Gunn shot too quickly for him to pause and reassess the threat between shots. He was too close to pause and reassess the threat between shots. He doesn't know 1 shot. Okay, someone's running at you and they're within 3 feet of you and close enough to reach your gun. Do you take 1 shot and then step back and go, well, while you're running at me, okay, you're not down, and then pull it up and shoot again? No. Someone running at you, you shoot until the threat is down for sure. Period. If this was a 5 foot, 105-pound woman, and a rapist is running at her and has already attacked her, and she finds a gun, and the rapist runs to get her, does she shoot 1 time and then reassess the situation as the person's running at them? Or does she shoot until for sure the threat is gone? Answer as though it was your sister. Jesus Christ, this guy's stupid. If you believe Rittenhouse's defense, the gun also failed at a more basic level, that of ordinary product safety. Rittenhouse had his rifle strapped to his body, but was still worried that it could be taken from him. How useful is a gun that can be pulled away from you by a guy who is also hitting you with a skateboard? It became very useful in this case. And regardless if he had a strap on. Maybe I should rephrase that. Regardless if the gun was strapped to his body. The gun was strapped to his body is just a way to carry it without it falling. Holy shit. The guy still had his hand on the gun, which means he was armed. Not only is he armed with a skateboard, he was armed with both a skateboard and a gun. And finally, the guns failed at their most vaunted purpose, helping the good guys fight the bad guys. Not in this case. If Rittenhouse was your good guy, what good did his gun do him? It stopped bad guys from killing him. Duh. How did it help anyone in the community he was trying to protect? Well, we are less one pedophile in the community. It got 2 people killed, 1 person injured, and Rittenhouse himself facing a charge of homicide. On the other hand, it looked cool. Well, fuck you. On the other hand, the car source is still not burned down, and the people who attacked Kyle Rittenhouse can no longer attack him, or at least stopped attacking him that night. So there you go. No, I'm not forgetting about Richo, by the way. And also Try Deos is in the house. So let's just, for the rest of the show, I'm only going to be talking to people who jump into the chat. Richo, I appreciate you waiting this long, sir. How are you doing, my friend from down under? I'm just looking at your Abby. I did not see that. Hold on. I'm going to put this on the screen so people can see. Can you hear me, by the way? Richo? Richo, you're muted. Richo, unmute. Richo. Richo, wake up.
Yeah, so,
yes!
sorry. I had it on unmute. I had it on mute. Sorry, my bad.
Yes, you do, my friend. Nice Abby there.
That's been going around for like 2 years. An old American friend made it up for me.
Oh, okay, that looks like an AK though.
Nah, it's not an AK. It's a 711 cough.
Oh,
I guess it's kind of an AK. But yeah.
Okay, good. How are you, my friend?
I'm very well, mate.
All right,
Yourself?
fantastic. I'm doing well, thank you. Now, I'm curious. I'm glad you're on because I'm always curious of the Aussie take on our.
Well, this whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing, it's a shambles. Like even down here, they're trying to paint him as this white supremacist. Oh my gosh! Like they forget that people have the internet and we can actually watch things and read things that they don't sell in the MSM. Mm-hmm. The only thing this guy, Kyle Rittenhouse, is guilty of, he didn't kill enough pedos with his AR. That's the only thing he's guilty of. He didn't kill enough pedos. You know? And I'm sorry, but it's fucking true.
Well, yes. It's funny. If you've been watching a lot of the people who've been arrested for some of these riots around the country, it's interesting how many of them are kitty diddlers. It's amazing that how many of them have records.
And not just that, or just the way the media paints it. And trust me, they're trying to do what they did in Australia many years ago. We had our mass shooting and they took the guns away. Right. Which, by the way, don't believe that what they tell you. That people only gave in 300,000 guns, which means there's still 8 million guns out there in Australia. Don't believe the full story what they tell you. Well, it was a buyback scheme. Only 300,000 people gave in their guns. There's still 8 million guns out there in Australia. Don't believe the bullshit that they tell you.
No. See, here's the thing, though. I'm pretty sure all those gun owners that did not sell their guns back, they all went on fishing trips, and when they were fishing, they snagged a pretty large, perch in the ocean around there, and when they snagged that perch, their line got caught on their gun and flipped it right into the ocean, and I think that happened 8 million times. So I'm pretty sure everyone gave up their weapons.
Lots of holes in the ground too, if you know what I mean.
Certainly. So they're in Australia. They're painting him as a white supremacist. Now, how are they justifying that? Do they have any evidence of that?
Well, because they're still using it as the Black Lives Matter protest, which it wasn't. We all know it was a riot. That's why Kyle Rittenhouse was there. He was protecting properties. We know that. People online know that.
Yeah,
but
I wish
they still don't. But sadly, 65% of the world still gets their news on the mainstream media. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wish they would say, instead of saying it was a Black Lives Matter protest, because it clearly wasn't, I wish they would say it was a post Black Lives Matter protest, because it was not a protest. That was just the bullshit people. I brought up the song "The Freaks Come Out at Night." That's pretty much what that is. Yeah. Real quick, thank you, Paul Farrell, supporting the show. And Paul Farrell,
you are the new Streamlabs
Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you. Paul Farrell says, UNICEF was lucky it was an AR-15 chambered in a 556 or 223. If it had been one that was chambered for a 450 Bushmaster or 458 SOCOM or a 50 caliber Beowulf, he would likely not have a right arm. That's a very good point. I
agree with that. However, are we forgetting it's either self-defense or it's not? Forget what weapon you use. It's either self-defense or it's not.
Correct.
And it's clearly self-defense. Simple as that.
It certainly is. So
yeah, simple as that. Self-defense. Simple as that. In a country like America where you're allowed to have guns, sorry, well, you picked the wrong person to mess with, didn't you?
Yeah, I just don't understand. People, they're trying to make, pedo Joe, and I'm talking about Rosenbaum, not Biden. They're just trying to make him out to be this hero. Oh, he was trying to save people. Really? What indication from all the action, not even just Kyle saying that he was going to, that he wanted to get, all the actions that they have on videotape of this asshole makes you think he was trying to be a hero. What? Does that make sense any way whatsoever?
It doesn't to me, but these lefties, they'll try anything. And by the way, they don't really care about the whole BLM. They just want your guns. Trust me, they just want your guns. I don't want to bring this up, but the only thing stopping COVID in this world is America. Because guess what? You've got guns. They ain't going to go door to door in America with this trying to inject people, are they? Nope.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry to bring it up.
Well, we have a court that
I'll
says...
leave it there, I'll leave it there. But yeah, it's the only thing stopping this world.
Yeah.
America's got with their guns. 400 million guns, don't you have, roughly?
Something like that. I don't know. And you have to be especially careful what you say, don't you?
No, you can't get arrested in my country for saying shit.
Because anyway. I thought for...
Now you're thinking of places like Scotland and things like that.
Scotland, New Zealand,
mate, the shit I say
Canada.
online, man. If I get, trust me, I should be hanging by a roof. The shit I say online.
Okay, all right. Well, we don't want that. Anyway, any last words, real quick?
Yeah, I'll go one quickly. I'm going to turn to Australia quickly. Have you heard about Dan Andrews, the Victorian Premier?
I have, but I haven't heard the latest news.
He's trying to pass this law. He's trying to pass this bill where they can detain people for 2 years, $90,000 fines, blah, 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 if you go against his government. Anyway, it doesn't look like it's going to get it through. So now they're pushing this whole narrative now where the protesters are all suddenly violent. They weren't violent until yesterday, until he found out his laws may not get passed. Now they're trying to make it all these protesters are violent.
Well, here's the thing.
It's the same trick around the world. No matter where you go, they're all a bunch of dickheads. They try and push the same narrative, if you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, because parents are certainly dangerous of being terrorists if they go talk to their school board. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I'm still on Facebook because it's the only place that still lets me on. Anyway, but yeah, the comment section, I can tell you by the comment section, they reckon there's 90% of Australians are vaccinated. I can guarantee it's not. Going by the comment section, they're not, trust me. Okay. I'd say it's 60% at the most.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't
Just
know.
going by, you know what I mean? They lie.
Definitely. All right, man.
Anyway, P-Dog, it's great to see you. I probably won't see you around for, another 8 months, but have a great Christmas, my friend. Have a great Christmas, my friend.
Thank you very much. You too. And thanks for jumping on, bud.
Cheers, bro.
All right, brother. All right, real quick, I'm gonna go right into my next guest, who is Tarai Deos. Who, good morning. How are you? Hello, Tarai. You there?
Good morning, P-Dog. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I am doing lovely.
Oh, I must have a little bit of a lag. Are we lagging? Oh, no. Where'd you go? Okay, Tarai, please try to come back on. I lost you there for a second. All right, tell you what. I'm going to go to Select a Boy next, and then, Tarai, if you pop back in, I will absolutely put you back on. I'll see you in a second. Select a Boy, what's up?
Yo, what's up?
Oh, now I can barely hear you. I don't know if you're on a phone or a microphone or what, so just go closer to the...
I'm using the headphones, actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you, just barely. I wonder if there's I think I can I? There's got to be a way to turn you up. Hang on a second here. Oh, I don't even know how to do that. I should probably learn that. Well, anyway, I can hear you. Just, yeah, I'll be quiet when you're talking. What's up, man?
Well, this whole Kyle Rittenhouse case.
Yeah.
With defense being all passive and all that. It just racks my nerves.
What do you think the there's so many, but what do you think?
The prosecutor is viewing like he had an AR-15 in his strap, and he has a full metal jacket and all that. They should have been objecting right then and there, like 1, 2, 3, like not wasting any time or just sitting on their hands and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, they definitely should have done that quicker on many, just many. Well, it's it's hardest to do too. So when I watched most of that trial from Rakita's stream, and you got 4, 5, 6 lawyers at a time sometimes, just yelling at them, going, "Why aren't you objecting? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you this?"
Yes.
So I get it. Yeah, it's hard.
What are they doing?
So it's maddening. There's got to be a way to do this. How do I do? Hang on a sec. Oh, here we go. Maybe I'm going to turn you up.
Alright, so you can hear me now?
There we go. I just turned you up on my end. So I can hear you. I can hear you much better. So anything specific you want to talk about the case at this point?
That's pretty much it.
Okay, man. Yeah, no, it is maddening that they don't object enough. There's so many things that they could be doing, and that they're just not. And especially with this request or the motion for a mistrial, they should be on that constantly. There's so many things that could have caused a mistrial in this case. So anyway. Yeah, well, it is. I think it's going to be, and I hope he gets a new defense team for the second trial if that happens, and one that is actually aggressively defending him and that actually seems like an advocate, versus just. I don't dislike the guys. I just think they're kind of going through the motions more and not. They're too passive. They need some aggressive defense for him, I think. Say it again.
Way too fast.
Yeah. So, anyway, you got any plans for the weekend?
Not really. Just working.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hear you. I'm going to be kind of working on one of my side gigs this weekend. So, anyway, well, I very much appreciate it. I also appreciate you being a regular in the chat and so on and so forth. So, thank you very much for being here, and look forward to talking to you again.
Glad to be on here.
All right, man. Have a good one. All right, bye-bye. All right, next up, we're going to try this again. Hi, Tarai.
Hello.
Hey, I can hear you, and you sound great. What's going on?
With all of this craziness, I figured maybe we do a little history lesson.
Okay, let's go.
So before America was America, back in Japan, a man named Toyo Tumi Hideyoshi, he took over Japan and unified it. And this man was a peasant. When he rose up in the ranks, eventually becoming the man to unify Japan, one of the first things he did was disarm the populace. So, yeah, farmers, they weren't allowed to have swords, daggers, bows, and even firearms, because firearms have been around for a very long time. Right. And this is back in 1588. He also froze the ability of anybody to rise up, because he knew where he came from. He knew anybody could be a great leader.
So relate that to what's going on now.
Right now, if we look at the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, it is our right to defend ourselves is being put on trial right now.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I find it funny that they talk about, they're like, oh, well, you can't defend property. But if somebody's trying to burn down your house, you're telling me I can't, first take out the threat and then put out the fire in my house?
See, that's the thing. In some states, yeah, you cannot defend property. And I don't understand that. Do you not have a right to your property? And if somebody's trying to destroy it, I mean, maybe in some ways I can understand that you can't, like in Canon Hotep's example, for example, someone comes in your house and they're stealing your TV and you catch them in the act and they're walking out your front door and you shoot them as they're running away with your TV. I can maybe understand why that's a problem. You need to call the police and but if someone's, for example, trying to set fire to your property, or you would think that there's some way you can defend that. But I know that the laws of self-defense are basically towards you, the person, and the way that different states have self-defense set up. In some states, you literally can't defend yourself. You know, even if you have a weapon, they require you to retreat no matter what, and it just doesn't make sense. So I don't know. The one thing you said though about what was his name? Toyotama Hideyoshi, is that right? I think so. One problem though is he took away everyone's weapons, and so that sort of power can be a problem too. That's a problem. Some leader who's professing to take away your weapons now, it just makes them easier to be tyrannical, and so yeah, I just don't like the whole thought of that. So. The argument is unless you would be trapped in the house as it burned, you're personally in no danger of harm. Therefore, you're not defending yourself. Yeah, that is, in some states that's the way it is. You can't defend your property even in a case of arson unless you yourself would be burned, or if someone in your house could be burned. You can use it to defend somebody else. But they'll make, well, you could have just went and got the people out of the house. Well, yeah, I want my fucking house though. So, anything else that strikes you about this case? Do you think, now, quick question, I meant to ask this to everybody who came in. Do you think he will be found guilty, not guilty, acquittal, or mistrial? Which do you think is most likely?
Honestly, I don't know, because we don't know what's in the jurors' minds.
Right.
Some people may legitimately be afraid that their house may be on fire. So since you can't necessarily defend their house, it might be better to throw one kid under the bus and let him rot in jail than risk their own lives. And that's what worries me, is people not doing the right thing, doing the safe thing.
Yeah. I think I think there's possibility that some people who can hear some of the noise outside might be thinking that, but I maybe it's just my own personal faith in humanity, which I should never have. I think people who are disposed to hold, or allow the self-defense argument probably aren't thinking that as much. They might be in the back of their mind, but I don't think that would stop them from. I think it would stop them from putting a kid away for life. You know what I mean? I think the holdout is the jury foreman, who seems, just by listening to some of the other lawyers and some of the behavioral people who know what they're talking about, seem to be kind of a Karen type authoritarian who is dead set on proving that this kid did this beyond a reasonable doubt without no self-defense. And thus the note, for example, saying the note using the language of the prosecutors instead of the language of the defense, or just neutral language. They use the language of the prosecutor whenever they're asking for things. And also they're demanding things. They're not saying, could the court please prepare this? It says, please prepare this thing, that thing for us to review when we're ready. Okay. That sounds like, I don't know. Have you heard any of the, maybe you have to be watching it. Where are you watching or paying attention to this trial the most?
What do you mean?
Are you, for example, I've been following it almost exclusively on Rikita Law's channel. Some people are watching strictly the trial without any commentary. Some people are watching on PBS. Are you watching the trial? And if so, where you're getting your information about the trial?
I've been watching it in pieces through the Neo Unrealist.
Oh, okay. That's a good place to watch it too. I haven't gone over there. Is there a lot of commentary on that channel, or are they mostly just watching it?
He only comments when he actually feels that there's nothing going on.
Okay.
He doesn't. He wants you to be able to hear the trial.
Okay. And now I'm listening to it with a bunch of lawyers who are commenting and things that the problem is too, if you're watching with a bunch of lawyers, well, they know the law and they know things that should be happening. The jury doesn't. The jury has no idea some of these things that they talk about. And that's why these lawyers talking about it when they're saying, well, why aren't they objecting? Why aren't they doing this? The jury doesn't know that the lawyers on one side or the other should be objecting. And again, these lawyers aren't doing it just for the defense. They're also doing it for the prosecution where sometimes the defense would meander off into something they probably shouldn't. And the prosecution doesn't object. So maybe that's where I have a little bit more, I wouldn't say jaded, but I just have a different picture of it because I'm listening to it while I'm listening to a bunch of lawyers talk about it. And the more that I listen, I'm like, oh my God, I can't even believe they brought this case. But then they also have insights into how juries work and the behavior aspects of things that come out of the jury that make you go, this is not looking good right now. So, and especially if the holdout is the foreman of the jury. So I don't know. Anyway, anything else you want to say about this? Or are you good? Or
Oh, I'm good. All we can do is give it to God and hope that he gets a just verdict.
Yes, that is so true. And we certainly hope for that. So anyway, you know what? I just want to let you know, I do appreciate you being a regular watcher of the show. And thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much and have a blessed weekend.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay. Since I'm running out of time here, I just gonna pop over. I wanted to check over on Ricardo's stream. Looks like nothing's happening in the courtroom. Just 6 lawyers chatting all day. This is amazing. So no verdict, right? And they don't have anything going on in the court. I just want to show you something here. This is amazing to me. So here's Rakita's stream right now. I don't have the volume or the sound on for a reason, but I do want to show you something about this stream that is completely and utterly amazing. I'll show you in just a second. Let me move this around before I switch it. So nothing's happening in the courtroom right now right now. And so this is Rakita's stream right now. I don't know if you can see this, but look just down below the title of the stream. They have 69,909 people watching his stream and without the case going on. It's amazing how just amazing how many people are watching there. And I think people are watching there because there is insight, because most of us are lay people who don't necessarily know the law and don't know when we say things. Are we saying this correctly? Is this thing right? Is this thing wrong? And so I find it just, I think it's a great thing. And I really like, and by the way, these attorneys, while most of them agree on a lot of things, if you ever watched any of these attorneys, they don't agree on everything. They really don't. They have arguments about different things, and then they come back based on the law and whatever. And not necessarily maybe about this trial. They kind of seem to be on the same direction on this trial. But even then they disagree on how they would have done things. And it's easy for them to sit back, and they acknowledge that it's easy for them to sit back and watch it from a distance where they're not in the courtroom doing what they're doing. But boy, their insights are amazing. And I've learned more about the law listening to these people than just about anybody on the planet. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. So I'm going to be heading out here. Please, before you do anything, stop, don't click yet. Wait. If you haven't hit the like button, hit it now. Thank you. And if you please, you can share the stream anytime, before, during, and after the stream, 24 hours a day. If you're watching it, you can share it, and it helps every time you do it. I gain a few subscribers every time. And also, if you like what we do and you really just want to make sure that this show lasts forever, I couldn't even say it with a straight face, but you certainly can be a sponsor of the show by, excuse me, at PDogKnight.live. A couple other options down in the description down below, super chats, whatever. Thank you for the people who were able to do that today. Gunfox61 and Paul Farrell, greatly appreciated. And then we will also remember, I don't have any articles today, so there won't be anything to put into the, I'll put that New York Times piece. I'll have a link to that in the description down below if you want to just have another good laugh at somebody who doesn't know what the hell they're talking about, because, you know, that's just how things work. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you so much. Thanks for being here today. Have a great weekend. I don't know if I'm going to stream from the bar this weekend or not. Probably not. I got a lot of stuff to do this weekend. And next week I start having my 12-hour UPS days, so that's going to be brutal. But I still have the show. Because when those are 12 hours, usually 10 hours, but usually that time of the year, because I start really early, like as in 10 o'clock the night before, they usually let me get out on time to do my show. So, well, we should be able to do that. Anyway, thanks for coming. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. My name is P. Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.